Thank you, Rod. We go back a few years, and I think the three messages I'm taking away from this summit. The first one is that relative to 10, 15 years ago, there really has been a quantum leap in the interest and the action by various people, various sectors of society for growing food in our cities. Attention and actions that connect with the meaningfulness and the usefulness of this activity for different sectors and for different reasons, depending on whether you're in Toronto or Hamilton or New York or Tokyo or Hong Kong, Singapore, Beijing, or cities in the deep global south. The second message I take away is that the diversity of organizations and the range of expertise that we pull together here is absolutely stunning. I was not expecting that. And that speaks to the deep and broad networking that the Toronto community has been able to deliver, particularly, of course, Green Roof for Healthy Cities, the City of Toronto itself, Food Share, Debbie, and Ryerson University. And the third message I take away is that all of these exchanges that we've been having for the last 3 or 4 days, they have to lead to further cooperation across cities, across sectors, to tackle challenges that are common to us, but also seize opportunities. And it'd be really interesting to have some kind of a tracer a few months down the line after the summit to see what are the good things that have happened as a result of this effort. This is an enormous investment on part of the people here and abroad that have worked with the organizing committee to see what you have really taken away from the summit for your own work. I'd like to congratulate the organizing committee. Again, I think I've met you individually throughout the summit, and look forward to the next one, of course. Thank you very much. I think Porter Airlines will have
So one advantage of HYPE is that you become obligated to live up to it. And it's one of the reasons why I was very happy when Toronto developed one of the world's first food charters, and then we then in the food movement had a charter that we would say, you signed it, not us. And so we got stuck on the same issue when we decided to call this an Urban Agriculture Summit. Because right away when we sent out the word, everyone said, well, this stuff looks like a conference to me, and you're calling it a summit. And we said, yes, it's a summit, because it's going to be a turning point in the movement of urban agriculture. And we did actually have that in the back of our minds, but calling it a summit, but forward. And I think it is important to acknowledge, without bragging, that it is an important turning point. And if you think of the problems that we face, I think it's fair to say we face it equally in the people who deal with food, with water, with housing, any of the fundamental human needs, is that governments don't know how to deal with this because they deal with it in silos. So it's sort of driven home to me that this summer, when we're facing drought in many parts of the world, that we have agriculture departments that are totally separate from departments that deal with water. And we deal with housing, and it's a totally different department that deals with food, even though the cost of housing is usually what causes most of the problems of food insecurity. And so it's this silo problem that all of us are up against. And I think what this conference has done is to break down the doors, break down the silos, and open it all up to a true, broad movement that can actually come to grips with the issues and that force us to stretch. And so if I go through the issues that people have addressed and that we've named in the call for the conference and that are named in the specific sessions, you'll see that the list is quite fantastic. And I think that this is one of the things that's worth naming about this conference and about what we have to share with others who are starting to work in this field. So obviously there's something about growing food. Not so obviously, there's a lot about very specific food technologies that are quite innovative, because we are not just saying, let's go back to the olden days where everyone grew their own rutabagas. We're talking about aquaponics, new methods of community composting, greenhouses, and you can call them social technologies like community-wide food centers, such as the Stock or Food Share. We have developers who have played a really prominent role here and who are including food and food production as an important part of their developments. We have architects, we have artists and designers. We have people who are primarily concerned about community vitality. We have educators. We have people who are interested in green technologies more broadly, what some people have called living machines, that we can actually turn walls with plants in them into things that can substitute for machinery, and then thereby double the contribution they make to the environment. We have people here, I think, who are profoundly concerned about the culture of consumption and are looking to urban agriculture to start to get a culture of activity and engagement. Steve mentioned this morning about the mental health issue, which is increasingly coming to the fore, especially in Ontario mental health circles, of biophilia, that we have been so divorced from nature that it is causing us mental anguish. I think justice, for those who attended the inclusion session this morning, is a very powerful and emotional and gripping issue that we have to put front and center. And there's the issue that urban agriculture is increasingly including not just in the cities, but peri-urban agriculture, the green belts. So it's quite a long list, and so it's too long to, too important, too long to deal with in just a brief statement, and that's why we need a manifesto. And I think, I hope I circulated widely enough two possible things for you to reference our efforts by. And one is the Toronto Food Charter, which you will see is done in one page. And it's approximately half a page of setting a context, and it's approximately half a page of very bulleted, these are the things that we're going to work on. And so we're proposing that the same model be adopted for the statement, the manifesto that will come out of this conference. It will be only a half a page, it's not a 10-page paper or anything like that. I don't know if it's not a call to arms, it's a call to shovels and spades and pitchforks. But which states we are moving into a new world that is an urban world. We have to learn new ways to relate to one another and to nature. It just basically says that in half a page, much as the charter does. And what's left blank here is the half a page of here's the issues we think have to really be emphasized. Now, some others are going to be speaking to some of the discussion that's going on here, but the idea that's being presented here is that we have a loose discussion on the ideas in the preface and the subject matters that we've talked about, and if people are comfortable with it, it will refer it back to the organizing committee of the conference to write it up and to put it into fairly decent literary language and issue it as a release from this Toronto conference. So that's the content that I'm related to. And I'm going to ask Steve to just move the discussion on. Thank you very much.